Make sure you stick around until the end to see how you can win free gear and products. Hey, this is PJ with CLKsupplies. The new AutoProPAD G2 and G2 Turbo machines are out. And in this video, I want to talk about the differences between the classic machines and the new G2 format. Let's get started. Now, before we dive into the new G2 format, I want to talk about the classic machines. Now, at one point there was three of them. There was the AutoProPAD Basic, the AutoProPAD Lite, and then the AutoProPAD, which I refer to as like the classic. All right, now the AutoProPAD, the top of the one that doesn't have the Lite or the Basic on it, right? That was the top of the line machine. Now, when we move to the new G2 format, there's two machines. There's the AutoProPAD G2, and then there's the AutoProPAD G2 Turbo. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare the new G2 Turbo up against the AutoProPAD Classic. Now, I've went out and used the new AutoProPAD G2 Turbo, and I have to tell you, I'm really impressed with it. Everything that they say on the box is definitely true here. So the 100% redesigned user interface, which is honestly by far my favorite part. No tokens required or monthly fees, and then Bluetooth vehicle communication interface. And I'm going to get onto that here in a second because I think that's something really important. Now, let's first talk about, for one last moment here, the AutoProPAD Classic here. So when you first log in or you turn it on, right, you have to put in your user password. You no longer have to do that on the new Turbo machine, or the G2 format, which is really, really cool. Now, when you get to the main screen here, it's going to look something like this. Now, you can download and get the icons in there, but at the end of the day, this is what it's going to look like. And how it works, just as a quick refresher here, right, is you're going to take the cable. You're going to plug one end to the OBD2 port, and you're going to take the other end and you're going to plug it into the AutoProPAD. And then you're going to get to programming. Now, a lot of times, if you want to see if the AutoProPAD could do it, you could easily just go in here to, US Chrysler, hit agree on the disclaimer, and then you can get in and look at select by vehicle and go through the whole thing right here, and look and make sure you could do it. Now, when we move over to the AutoProPAD G2 Turbo, first of all, let me hold them up so you can see kind of a difference between the machines here. I tell you what, the AutoProPAD, classic machine, it always kind of felt more like a fancy tablet per se. That's just always kind of my impression of it. You'd go to the AutoProPAD app and then you'd use it. Now, I can tell you what, the AutoProPAD G2 Turbo, this feels like a programmer, okay? It really, really, to me, feels like a programmer. It has a much nicer battery, right? And kind of the three things with the new G2 format is, it's faster, it's easier to use with the new interface, and then it does more. And we're going to talk about all three of those things. But as far as its faster goes, okay, the interface on here, when you're programming vehicles, it moves, right? A lot of times, you're clicking buttons and it's following you right along the way, which is really nice. But having a good solid battery in here is also super nice. Now, weight-wise, you can definitely tell a pretty big difference between the two. Now, neither of these are going to give you big biceps if you're curling them between jobs, all right? But when it comes to the AutoProPAD G2 Turbo, this is what your interface is going to look like, okay? It's super, super nice. It's like this kind of like a modern, kind of this neon theme going on. I really like it. Now, when it comes to connecting the AutoProPAD G2 Turbo to the vehicle, you're going to do it a little differently. You're going to be using this VCI Plus box. Now, this is how it works. You're going to find this little cable. Okay, it's just this little cable in the box. And what you're going to do is you're going to connect it, this cable here. Let me move it around here. You're going to connect, you're going to plug this cable into the VCI Plus box, and then you're going to plug the other end in here to the OBD2 port. Okay, now when that happens, this little LED screen is going to light up and it's going to tell you the battery voltage. And I'm going to show you here in just a minute. Okay, we'll go plug it in together so you can see. Now once that happens, the AutoProPAD G2 Turbo is going to connect via Bluetooth. Now, the nice part about this is that you don't have to be in the vehicle, right? You're not tethered to a cable. And if you really think back at the history of really all programming devices, the cables are always seem to be a weak point. And I think it's less about the cable and it's more about just the daily grind and wear and tear and moving the machine around and kind of the machine slips and it's yanking on the cable, all that kind of fun stuff. So I often wonder if one of the main reasons they went this route is to hopefully not have as many cable problems. Essentially after you connect this in, you can set this off to the side and get to work. Now when it comes to the menu, okay, as you can see, it's much different. And when you hit the immobilization button, all right, is what's going to happen now is it's going to bring up the basic menu. However, when you click on the menu, as you can see here, it just goes to the loading screen because the machine has to be connected via Bluetooth in order for the menu to actually work. So if you're used to looking at the menu on your AutoProPAD Classic machine, all right, you're not going to be able to do it the same way, but that's not really a big deal because when you look at the basic menu here, you're also going to see something that says supported vehicles. Now, you do have to be connected via Wi-Fi. However, when you can go in there, you can see all the vehicles. You can go through and look at them. So that's kind of something that's a little different that you have to get used to. But I will say the interface on this machine, the new UI, especially when you're looking at like supported vehicles, it's very clean, it's easy to navigate, and I think you'll find it very beneficial. Now, let's go ahead and let's connect the AutoProPAD G2 Turbo to the VCI via Bluetooth, and I'll show you how it works. All right, so what we're gonna do here with this VCI tool is we're just gonna plug in this little short cable, just like that. We'll go ahead and just screw it in here. And then from here, we'll just take the OBD2 port plug and we'll plug it in just like that. Now what's gonna happen is it's gonna show us what the battery voltage is. So this is 12.6. Now, at that point, once you have that connected on your machine, you just hit, let me go back, you just go back and hit the immobilization button and hit agree. And then it's gonna bring up the menu and it's automatically going to connect. So there's nothing you have to do. So right there, to get to this screen here, you have to be connected via Bluetooth to this VCI adapter. So once you have it in there, then you can get in there and go by vehicle and get in and do all the stuff that you need to do to program. So that's really the big difference between plugging in like your AutoProPAD Classic, the OBD2 cable plugged into the machine, compared to just using this adapter here. And then at that point, you're really zero cables on the machine. So that's how it works. Now when it comes to the AutoProPAD G2 Turbo doing more, one of the big things that it's alluding to is the KC501 programming interface that comes with it. Now at the time of this video, okay, right now, what the AutoProPAD G2 does, or the G2 Turbo does compared to the Classic, from everything I've been able to try to find, it really doesn't do any more at the moment, all right? But maybe by the time this gets released, it already will. However, you're being set up, okay, with this new KC501, and even some of the cables that are found in the G2 Turbo, is you're gonna be able to start having the capabilities of doing BMW and Mercedes, and so there's a lot coming. You can already see it coming, and hopefully by the time I even release this video, that stuff will start to come out. All right, and there you have it. The main differences between the AutoProPAD G2 Turbo and the AutoProPAD Classic. Now, one of the best parts about this video is, this is really new into the new G2 and G2 Turbo formats. And as time goes on, as the capabilities increase, this video will actually become more and more inaccurate. Which is why, if you have additional information to add as time goes on, please in the comments below, go ahead and put information in there so people, when they're watching it and they want to know more, they can look in the comments and get more info. Now, I do want to just throw a quick tidbit in about the differences between the G2 and the G2 Turbo. Essentially, the main difference is it's a completely new machine. It's a lot faster, the hardware is a lot better, and it has the new interface. Now you will just use a basic cable to connect it to the machine, but you are going to be missing out on a lot of this future EEPROM and key pre-coding information, okay? So, and that's why I really wanted to do the video between the G2 Turbo and the Classic, because if there's one thing history has told us about key programming machines is that the technology is going to require the machines to get more advanced as time goes on. And so if you can afford to get the G2 Turbo over just the normal G2, I highly recommend it because it's one of those things in a few short years, you'll definitely be happy that you chose the Turbo over just the G2. So I'd love to know your questions in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. I'm guessing if you just watched this video that you work with locks and keys. And to us here at CLKsupplies, that makes you a Lockboss. And we want to hook you up. Here's how it works. Throughout the week, we post videos on YouTube, like the one you just watched. And all you need to do is comment on the videos and include the hashtag Lockboss. When you do this, you're automatically entered in to win one of 5 free prizes that we give out each and every week. No purchase necessary. So if you're a Lockboss, join us each week to learn, grow, and win.